this is Chasity Pearson, Chief of Personnel Management at the Bluegrass Army Depot. I'm here with Colonel Kurz. This is his last week here as the commander of the Bluegrass Army Depot, and we just wanted to take an opportunity to reflect on his command here and ask a few questions and let him speak to the workforce. So, Colonel Kurz, you're wrapping up your 2 years of command here at the Bluegrass Army Depot. Can you tell us a little bit about how you're feeling upon your departure?
Well, first of all, thank you for this opportunity to sit down and talk about Bluegrass Army Depot and our mission, our people. And it's a pleasure to sit down here and have this opportunity to reflect on the past 24 months as the commander. And I tell you, I'm feeling all kinds of mixed feelings a little bit here. I tell you, 2 years ago, walking in the door here, I felt like I was the luckiest Army officer there is to be able to come to an industrial facility, an extraordinary privilege of serving as a commanding officer, and to be here in Central Kentucky has been a phenomenal experience. It is hard to believe that 2 years has gone by so quickly, but it's been a wonderful 2 years, and it's a privilege of a lifetime that I will never forget.
So I have to ask, what was your impression when you first arrived here at the Bluegrass Army Depot?
Oh, I was a little scared. Well, a couple different ideas came to mind once the Army announced the slating and selected me for Bluegrass Army Depot. One, I felt very fortunate. It was at the top of my list here to be able to come to the Army's Organic Industrial Base. But I was a little bit nervous. Bluegrass Army Depot has a largely civilian workforce, 735 civilians working here, and that's far different than a troop unit where soldiers are trained to fight and win in our nation's wars here. And so it's a little bit different perspective. I had a few questions. What's it like to work with a civilian workforce? What's it like to work in an industrial facility? What is it like to work with a union? There are a lot of things that were unknown to me at the time, and I had to kind of discover my way through working here in this type of environment.
So throughout that, with the civilian workforce and working with the union and working with the Organic Industrial Base, what were some of your biggest challenges as a commander?
Well, walking in the door, I heard all kinds of rumors. Bluegrass Army Depot is shutting down. The future's not certain here. We've been termed as an archive facility. But I tell you, I found that to be inconsequential to what we really do. And that is phenomenal mission accomplishment as we provide reliable, cost-effective, and timely conventional munitions for the joint warfighter in support of the full spectrum of operations. That's an extraordinary mission. It's an extraordinary privilege to command, and to work with a workforce here that has that mission set is pretty neat.
So our workforce has obviously overcome a lot of challenges to get where we are today. What would you equate that success to?
I'll tell you, in the past 24 months, there's been many challenges, many missions, many life experiences, many personal and professional rewarding events over the past 24 months, a few moments of sadness, but I tell you, the overall feeling that I'm walking away with here is a sense of pride and really just a great sense of tremendous respect for this workforce here and what they've accomplished in that time. So there was a little bit of uncertainty 2 years ago. In 2017, the Army made an announcement that Bluegrass Army Depot would become an archive facility. Well, that was a little bit undefined, to say the least. We weren't sure what that meant for our workforce. Were we going to reduce the number of jobs? Was the depot going to close down? Was our mission going to change to something different? We weren't sure if it meant that Bluegrass Army Depot was going to work in a passive posture rather than an active posture. Our understanding at the time was that it looked like there was an anticipated mission change here, and the Bluegrass Army Depot would store the types of bombs and bullets that would be used for large-scale combat operations. Essentially break glass in case of war. And then what we store here would get on a plane or a boat and go to combat here. But in the years in between, there wouldn't be a whole lot of activity. Well, those circumstances and how undefined they were caused a great deal of anxiety across the workforce. And so when I walked in the door here 24 months ago, one of my first assessments is that this is a phenomenally capable organization with a great deal of capability in terms of its resources, its time, its people, its money, and everything that contributes to that mission accomplishment. But we were challenged with that uncertainty, and it created an anxiety with the workforce of what that future looks like here. Well, that anticipated mission change is still out there on the horizon. We don't know what the future looks like for us. But one thing is certain here is that we have a capable workforce that's committed, dedicated to the mission accomplishment, and regardless of the circumstances, they've been able to prove time and time and again that they can adapt to accomplish that mission regardless of the circumstances.
Absolutely. And you've been very transparent with the workforce throughout your commands, very open and honest. Can you give us an example of one of your proudest moments of the workforce?
Well, it's the ability to do our mission accomplishment. And so it's the splendid support that this workforce, the men and women of Bluegrass Army Depot, provide to the joint warfighter every single day. And so I'm proud to look back at what this workforce has accomplished in terms of our mission accomplishment. And one of the things that we are measured is how well do we perform in that mission accomplishment. And we call it our performance to promise. That means we deliver the right munitions in the right place at the right time, and it has a high quality output, and we give the customer exactly what they're asking for when they're asking for it. And right now, the Bluegrass Army Depot, along with the Anniston Munitions Center, stands at 31 consecutive months of 100% performance to promise. And that is a track record achieved by no other industrial facility in the Army's Organic Industrial Base among the other 26 depots, plants, and arsenals here. That's what we do every day. But on top of that, it's a tremendous pleasure to see what this workforce is capable of doing in times of surge. And so one story that comes to mind here is last Columbus Day, last fall. It was a federal holiday in October. We got a short notice mission to put some non-standard ammunition on a truck and send it down to Special Operations Forces down the road at Fort Campbell, Kentucky. And when that call came in on that federal holiday, we could have heard any number of different excuses. Someone could have said, hey, I'm out on the lake and can't get to the phone. They could have said, hey, I just cracked open my third beer, or no, this is my time, this is family time here. But no, when we used the phone tree and we started calling to get the folks in here to set up that mission and get that munition out the door, nobody had an excuse. What we heard is, I got this. And so everybody came together, we got the ammunition loaded on the truck, we got the truck down to Fort Campbell, and it was less than a week later when we saw the news that the world terrorist al-Baghdadi was dead. Now, can we draw a direct link between the bullets coming out of Bluegrass Army Depot and killing the bad guy around the world? Well, we don't know for certain. But it's a tremendous sense of accomplishment for this workforce here when they know they truly make a difference to supporting the joint warfighter.
That's absolutely something to be proud of. So, under your leadership, this workforce has accomplished a lot of things. Your father, he was a career naval officer. Did he give you any of your leadership skills?
Well, my father was an inspiration for what it means to serve. And so he served 26 years in the United States Navy, and growing up as a dependent, I knew what service meant. I knew what deployments were like. I knew what it meant to stand watch somewhere around the world in terms of times of crisis. Whenever the president calls, the military has to react. And so my dad worked on an aircraft carrier, and I remember going on the aircraft carrier and watching planes launch and recover on what the Navy calls a Tiger cruise. And that set a foundation for me of just the sense of awe on what the U.S. military could do, and see that firepower and that capability. And that never left me. And so my dad gave me that inspiration to join the military and to continue to serve my country and do it for a full career. And it's a lifetime experience that has shaped me for who I am today.
So, with your father giving you a lot of that background and that history, is there anything that the workforce of the Bluegrass Army Depot has taught you?
Well, one of the things I learned here with the civilian workforce is that leadership is leadership is leadership. The Army defines leadership as a process of influencing people by providing purpose, direction, and motivation to accomplish the mission and improve the organization. And so it doesn't matter whether we're talking about soldiers or Department of the Army civilian workforce here, we understand what it means to have a mission, align resources, integrate them against accomplishing that mission, and be able to build on our success and improve our organization, ensure the welfare of our organization here. And so that's never left me, whether it's military soldiers or airmen or sailors or Marines across our joint warfighters or the civilians here at Bluegrass Army Depot. Good leadership against mission accomplishment is essential.
So that leadership, then, I would, if I could say, has helped us grow as an organization. And we're not just an organization, we're a business. So how would you define the depot as a business?
Well, so this is the business side of the Army. And so there's a perspective of corporate America where everything is about profit and dividends for shareholders. And what you do on a daily basis determines whether or not you have a job tomorrow. That's corporate America. Inside the U.S. military and working in the Department of Defense or anywhere in the federal government, we are a service-oriented industry. That means we provide something. And this part of the Army, it's a little bit of both. We have to pay attention to the business side of things in order to do our best to provide the service for the joint warfighters here. And so one thing with Bluegrass Army Depot is we work in Defense Working Capital Fund. It's a revolving fund, which means we don't receive direct appropriations from the United States Congress. For anything that we require in the capability to accomplish the work or satisfy the requirements, we have to fund it ourselves, and then we charge it to customers or direct reimbursable. So in that revolving sense here, everything that we have as an expense must be matched with the revenue. And we charge a rate to our customers that's about $142 an hour here. What I've learned from that is that everything is a business decision when we talk about what we do around here. There are a lot of decisions where we choose to not spend money. There's places around Bluegrass Army Depot that I say haven't changed in the 78-year history of the Bluegrass Army Depot. There's things from World War II here, wood, maybe unpainted, or some of the grass that isn't mowed, because there are costs to doing that maintenance or that upkeep. And we make decisions of where we want to incur expenses. Where do we want to spend money? What's going to help us in terms of mission accomplishment? And we are constantly struggling throughout the year, challenged with the responsibility of making sure that all the expenses here of buying resources or hiring personnel to accomplish the mission are in a matching proportional rate to what we charge our customers here. We don't want to make a profit on the customers here, but we got to make sure that revenue and expenses are matched by the end of September as we close out the fiscal year. That's been a tough task for our resource management office, but something they struggle through every day here. But I've learned that business side of it, in terms of time and money, are important. For example, this Bluegrass Army Depot generates $400,000 a day in revenue. In a 10-hour workday, that means every hour is $40,000 in an hour. For us to make a decision in the winter months with icy roads in terms of safety, and we say, well, we're going to delay our start time this morning for safety reasons, well, that's an important decision. We're careful because a 2-hour delay is an $80,000 decision we make. And we'll do that kind of a decision to save our workforce here, but we are careful about when is the right time to make the decision. There are a lot of times where the union president will come and ask for a 59-minute rule just about every federal holiday, and normally we say no, because an hour of work is a missed opportunity to generate more revenue and make sure that we're able to offset or cover all the expenses it takes to provide the joint warfighters with bullets and bombs at the end of the day. So we've said no to a lot of requests for a 59-minute rule, but again, it's a business decision that helps us remain economically viable as a powerful asset for the United States Army and not a liability.
So while the workforce isn't always happy about those decisions, I think it's fair to say that you're looking out for their future and the future of the organization. As the commander, you have to make those tough decisions, and when you make those decisions, it's for the betterment long term. Would you agree?
That's certainly true. So a lot of decisions, they're not always understood. We've tried to do our best to be transparent and communicate the reason why we've made some decisions. And they may not be popular decisions in the short term, but they're made in the best interest of the long-term health of this organization and its capability to contribute to the readiness of the Army.
So when you walk away from this experience here at BGAD, is there anything that you're taking with you, maybe even to your new assignment?
Sure. Well, certainly. So one of the things that I will cherish in the rest of my life are the relationships with the people here. So it's a great mission, great workforce, great people. I will have some friends here, friendships that will last the rest of my life here, and I will remain in touch with a lot of people here. But the overall thing that I'm going to take with me is just a great sense of pride in the workforce and their attitude here towards mission accomplishment. So looking back 24 months, this was a workforce in a little bit of a panic, a great deal of anxiety about what the future looks like and what does it mean to be an archive site. The Army has since decided that eventually Bluegrass Army Depot will become a strategic reserve site, and we don't know what that looks like. But we do know that for the next 24 months, we have assigned workload from the United States Army through Joint Munitions Command to us for a good workload here. One of the things that we're seeing is new work. 24 months ago, we saw our receipts declining, we saw the terms of issues declining here. It looked like workload was drawing down and going away. Right now, we have new work. We have 9 lines of new or expanded projects just in calendar year 2020 alone. And that's a sign of a healthy organization and a prosperous future here as we look ahead for our workload forecast for the next 24 months. We have more workload than we have workforce, and so we'll be able to adjust our workforce levels to satisfy an equal matching capability to the requirements of our services and what they're asking for us here. That is a good sign. Bluegrass Army Depot has heard General Pernis say, your #1 priority is Army readiness and performing as you've promised to the customer. And if you achieve 100% performance of promise, the work will come. Well, the real value of Bluegrass Army Depot is in this workforce here. And it's the talent and the capabilities and that commitment every day from this workforce here that said, all right, General Pernin, we've heard you, we're going to perform. And this organization has now met General Pernin's intent 31 consecutive months with that 100% score for our performance of promise. Well, now we're seeing confidence in Army senior leaders to put more work against Bluegrass Army Depot because Bluegrass Army Depot has proven consistently that we can deliver, and not just on time in the right quantities, but with a high quality output here. So good work has garnered new work, and new work, again, performed very well, we'll get more work. And so what we're seeing in terms of a healthy organization with the new work coming in is that it's a virtuous cycle up. And so that winning spirit across the organization here is starting to catch on, and people are digging in. There's an extraordinary unity of effort here that we see across each one of the shops and directorates. And so it doesn't matter if we're in the office or we're in the shops, if we're on the LP or on the loading docks, or if we're on the rails or we're standing watch. Everywhere we go, every job, every position is important for that overall mission accomplishment, and the winning spirit on this workforce here is starting to show evident in the high quality output every day and the readiness we generate for the warfighters.
Wow. So, is there anything that you would like to say to the workforce?
So we sat down here this afternoon to talk a little bit about the past 2 years and kind of look at the commander's time here for 24 months as a chapter. It's just one more chapter in the 78-year history of this Bluegrass Army Depot. And this depot will continue to perform and accomplish its mission very well. And it will improve on every success. And success will breed success here into the future. And the next commander coming in here is very fortunate, and to be able to have this team here. I tell you, this team is also very fortunate to have the next commander. So it's Colonel Steve Doors coming in. He is a career explosive ordnance disposal officer, master rated, and he spent his entire career with the construction and the disposition and disposal of explosives to include chemical weapons. And he is the right officer at the right time to come in and take Bluegrass Army Depot to its next level of excellence. Very fortunate here.
Well,
what was the question you asked me? Because I got off on a tangent, forgot.
I just asked if there was anything that you wanted to say to our workforce before you left.
So we sat here down today to talk a little bit about the past 24 months, but I would tell you that I wanted to do another town hall. We've done some quarterly town halls, and each time I've stood up in front of the workforce, tried to be very transparent in terms of this is the mission before us here, and this is the state of our organization and how well we are doing in our mission accomplishment. Well, with the additional precautions we've implemented in response to COVID-19 and our social distancing and small group settings, we're not able to do a town hall meeting. And I wanted an opportunity to talk to the workforce and just simply say thank you. Thank you to our workforce for working together as a team. Together, everyone accomplishes more, and Bluegrass Army Depot's workforce proves that every single day. Our commitment to the joint warfighter, many of our workforce have served in the military as airmen, soldiers, sailors, and Marines. 68% of our workforce are veterans, and they bring that here to our depot here, and they never forget what it means to serve. They never forget that as long as America's sons and daughters are still in harm's way and still have to fight, that when our soldiers or sailors or their airmen or Marines pull a trigger, they need to hear bang and not hear click. And so they must rely, they must be able to trust in what we provide in Bluegrass Army Depot for our joint warfighters. It's a pleasure to work with this workforce. I'm going to miss the opportunities that we've had here, our successes that we've had here. A great mission, great people, love Central Kentucky here, and I will cherish the relationships and the friendships that I've established here and carry that with me and my family here into the future.
Well, thank you, Colonel Kurz. Just from the organization of Bluegrass Army Depot as a whole, I just want to say thank you for your leadership and your commitment to helping us grow as an organization, for holding us accountable, and we wish you and your family the best of luck.
Okay, thank you, Chasity. It's a pleasure to sit down, and thanks for this opportunity to highlight the success of Bluegrass Army Depot and its people.
Thank you.
Mission first, people always. When the Army calls, we haul, we get the job done, high quality, and it's a tremendous pleasure to serve and be part of this team. Someday I'm going to be sitting on my rocking chair on the front porch, and I'm going to look back and say, it is a pleasure to be a part of Bluegrass Army Depot. I will remember it for the rest of my life. Thank you.